I hope everyone is full to the brim of food, family, and friends. This holiday season has been absolutely wonderful, but there comes a time to where we need to get back on track. So today we're going to go over 4 tips, tricks, and ideas to help do just that. Ideas I'm trying to ease back into after the holiday season. Enjoy, friends. Cheers. Good morning, and welcome back to another episode of the Talk Terror Morning Show, where we go over tips, tricks, ideas, and exercises to help make you the absolute best person you can be, not only for yourself, but for the people you love and care about most. Good morning, everyone. Today we're going to be going over these 4 tips, these ideas, these exercises we can do as we're journaling, say, getting into the end of the new year. We're still maybe getting some time with friends and family, but these are simple tips and tricks to get back into the flow of things. I think one of the biggest mistakes many of us make when it comes to this habit, right? We can think of any day as just taking actions throughout the day, spending time. All we have is time. Have you heard that before? So habits, a lot of times we'll be building up slowly over time. We'll be building up over time. So this space right here, building momentum. Say if we're working out, say if we're reading, say if we're writing, we're doing all of these great things. We're building up momentum over time. And what happens is we take a break. So we take a bit of a break. And then after we take a break for holidays, Christmas, because no one wants to work. I know I personally, there's people out there who want to work until the day they die. I personally like taking breaks. I like to not work all the time. I don't know about you, but I like to take Christmas off and hang out with my friends and family and not really look at a phone or anything business-wise, and just take a moment. So, but after we come back, it's tough because we want to jump right back into it. We want to come right back to this high level of performance. Say if you're running 10 miles, and you take a little break and you come back and you just want to run 10 miles again. Or say if you were making 100 reach outs a day for your business, you're trying to get new customers, bam, you want to jump right back into it. I think this is a big mistake. I think this can cause fatigue and a lot of frustration, because just because you did something in the past doesn't mean your body and your mind, your soul, everything is ready to rock and roll today. So we want to take more of so say we got to restart, we got to have a new starting point. And so this new starting point, so this is the habit formation that we really want to take on. So thinking of it as like the step ladder. So if you haven't been working out, you've been eating a lot over the holidays, that's how I'm feeling right now. And we're going to want to get like one small workout in and do it for a couple days, and then go up and then do a little bit more for a couple more days, build up. So after you take a break, I think it is good to take this ladder method approach to just build it up over time. And so it's like, okay, great, I got that. But how do I actually apply it, T-Dog? How do I apply it this morning? So we're going to get right to that. So this was the mistakes that people make, jumping right back into it, and no wonder why our bodies and everything is in such terrible shock, and it hurts like hell, and it can be really deterring and frustrating, and we get so overwhelmed that we just shut down. I'm sure that sounds really familiar to a lot of us, because I know it does me. So the first tip I would say is taking the best friend approach. This one I always like. I think the biggest thing I've struggled with, and many of my clients and people I've come into, is this mental battle, just over and over again, beating the crap out of ourselves. Should I be doing this? Oh, I should have been doing this. Oh, well, I should have had 100 reach outs today. I should have done more social media content, more. And just like this internal hamster wheel of beating the crap out of ourselves. But for some reason, when it is a lot easier, thinking of the holiday season, it's a lot easier to be kinder to other people than it is to ourselves. We're our own worst critic. So let's throw out the advice to ourselves in general, and let's get out of this little hamster wheel of negative thoughts and thinking outside approach, looking back in at little T-Dog right here. So I'm outside myself, I'm looking back, it's like, all right, now from a best friend approach, what would I advise him to do? Would I advise them to take small steps? Would I tell them that you're doing great? Like, it's the holiday season. What are the holidays for? We're supposed to take a break. And it's like, do you want to work until the day you die? No. And it's funny how when we take this best friend approach, when we're looking at ourselves from a different perspective, it's easy not to fall into this hamster wheel of, I should have been doing this. I should have been doing that. I should have. I'm just so behind now. I'm just never going to get rich. And we start to catastrophize and do a lot of these bad things. So first one we wanted to knock out was the best friend approach. I absolutely love this approach. So whether you're talking to your best or you're talking to yourself from the perspective of, say, a best friend, I think this can be really helpful on what you should be doing, say, today, say tomorrow, going into the new year, on how you can get back on track after the holidays. So number one, best friend approach. Absolutely love that one. Next one is hardest task first. Hardest task first. If you can just get in there and do the hardest task first, and then just be okay. The rest of the day is gravy, but just the first task of the day can be the hardest one. And I'm going to read something off. So shout out to my sister. I was actually talking to her about this over the holidays, and I really like. So this is how Brian. This is actually from Brian Tracy. If you know who that is, dude's an absolute badass. Let me zoom in so you guys can see a little bit. So this is called Eat the Frog. So the practice of tackling your most challenging or important task first thing in the morning is often referred to as eating the frog. This term is popularized by Brian Tracy's book titled Eat That Frog, 21 Great Ways to Stop Procrastinating and Get More Done in Less Time. I haven't actually read the book, but huge fan of Brian Tracy. Anyway, the idea is that if you start your day by completing the most difficult or undesirable task, symbolized by a frog, the rest of your day will likely feel easier and more productive. The concept is rooted in the philosophy that addressing major tasks early can set a positive tone for the rest of the day. So I'm a big believer in momentum, and I'm sure you are as well. And if we can convince ourselves, humans need evidence. And if we can prove to ourselves that we can do the healthy things, we can work out, we can read, we can write, we can work on our business, we can do the big pillar things first, I believe it gives us permission and gets us excited about doing the rest of the things going on throughout the day. So maybe we're thinking of what is my biggest pain in the ass? What do I really want to get done? No, really, like, what is the number one priority? I've struggled with this really badly. I've had 30 priorities. If you have more than, I think it's in Jim Collins' book, Good to Great, talks about if you have more than 3 priorities, you don't have priorities at all, right? That's just a list of tasks. So maybe we can get this down, and the more focused and locked in we can be with this, it can make it a lot easier. So what is the number one priority, and what is the most difficult thing for you? What is something that you do not do, that you fight to the nail to avoid, but you know that it's so important for you to achieve and reach your goals? For me, this is reaching out to people and just doing sales messages, email automations, and just talking to prospective clients. I fight it like the plague. And that hurt. You can't get a lot of people just don't know who Tanner DeWitt is. They don't know, oh, I got a new website, 1plp.com, go to it. People don't know that unless I tell them through it, like marketing or through something like that. So I fight it like the plague. So that's how I'm starting my mornings, is I get up a little bit earlier. I just crush out a little bit of it, small task, because we talked about that letter. I can kick this off the screen now. So if I'm fighting this task like the plague, I'm gonna make this even bigger so you guys can see the board a little bit better. So I'm fighting this task called the plague or whatever, and instead of just like say, because I was doing more, instead of just jumping right back into it and feeling overwhelmed and shutting down and all this crap, starting small, building the ladder system, going up and up. So you can see how that can work. So ask yourself, what is the one task? What is your number one task? How can you eat the frog? What is the hardest task you can take on today? I really like that method. Okay, number 3 is come. Shout out to Jerry Seinfeld on our YouTube. We have a whole nother video talking to me about this in a little more detail. But really the principle is you pick something that you want to do. So say it's the hardest task in the morning. You pick something that you want to do, and you just don't do anything if you don't do that. So Jerry Seinfeld was coined for. He said he didn't have to write today. He just couldn't do anything else from like 2 to 5 p.m. Or I can't remember the time in the story. Either way, the time doesn't matter whether you're a morning or an afternoon person. You just pick a time slot to sit there for 2 hours, and you just don't do anything. You can't do anything else. You don't have to do this. You can breathe, you can meditate, you can relax. You just can't do anything else. And I really like this method because it kind of just takes the pressure off of performance. When we have it's internal pressure that I've created on myself. I put a lot of pressure on myself. I gotta perform. I gotta get clients. I gotta revise this book. I gotta reach out to people. We have to fix something at the rentals. Yada yada yada. Going on and on and on. But this pressure that we put on ourselves to perform, I think, can be alleviated with this Jerry Seinfeld method that I really like a lot. So try it for yourself. You don't have to write your book. You just can't do anything else. You don't have to work out. You just can't do anything else. And then humans it's weird to me how much we fight boredom nowadays. I can't be bored even for one split second, or else this is just too much. My anxiety's riled up. I'm all going crazy. Doesn't that sound nuts? So no, it's okay to just be bored. And then we'll just naturally want to do something. So we'll probably dive into the eating the frog or the hardest task that we really want to be doing. So try the Jerry Seinfeld method. Whole point of it, to be straightforward, is you pick a time slot, and then you pick out what it is that you want to do, and you don't have to do it. You don't have to write for an hour. You just can't do anything else. You can't go watch football. You can't go smoke pot. You can't go eat. You can't go do a million other distractions or whatever. Look at your smartphone. You can't do anything else, but you can do this. That's the Jerry Seinfeld method. Okay, go ahead. And the last one starts with you. Okay, last point for today. Good morning. Good morning. I hope everyone's doing great this morning. Thanks for tuning in to the show. I got some comments coming in. Keep going, grinding. Let's go. Let's get it. Okay, start with you. So maybe we just need to get a lift in. I know after the holidays, the easiest thing for me personally to get back into is usually exercise. It's like I just ate a whole bunch of food. I need to just move my body a little bit to see if I can be feeling good, feeling great. So maybe you need to start with you. What do you need? What does your mind need? What does your body need? What does your soul need in order for you to have the proper energy to do what it is that you need to do today? So starting with you. What is the one thing that has been with you through every experience in your entire life? You. What is going to be with you through every experience until the day you die? You. So we want to make sure you are doing good. And this is good starting back with step number one. Maybe we just need to check in with a best friend or with family members to kind of get that validation. Or maybe we need some evidence just by taking out a hard task to prove to yourself you are good enough, you are skilled enough, you can do it when you really sit down, eliminate distractions, and get going with it. But really starting with you. What do you need? Do you need motivation? Do you need a coach? Do you need a partner? Do you need a friend? Do you need a family member? Do you need to work out? What genuinely sitting down, maybe we grab a journal or something, and we're just brainstorming here, folks. If you want to talk to me, you go to talktotaryn.com. You can always go here to book a call. But you go to talktotaryn.com if you want to talk with me, talk with a coach, or find somebody to talk to figure out what do you need? What do you need in order to give yourself permission to be the person that you want to be? How do you want to show up today? These are the questions that we want to make sure that we're asking folks and rocking and rolling through. These were the 4 tips to get back on track after the holidays. So how do we get back on track after the holidays? A quick little wrap up before we get out of here today. I'm going out to breakfast this morning. I'm pretty excited. So going to take a break. First, best friend approach. Being kinder to ourselves. What would your best friend say to you about what you got going on? It's probably good advice. Next up, we have the hardest task first. This is coined by Brian Tracy's Eat the Frog. Pick the hardest task that you can and do it first thing in the morning and see if it doesn't help you build momentum and a bunch of positive emotion throughout the day. Jerry Seinfeld method. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to do anything. You just can't do anything else. I want to write for an hour today. I don't have to write, but I just can't do anything else. No football, no marijuana, none of dude, those football and marijuana have been getting me lately, man. I love those things, but not as much as like what I want to do for my writing skills and my businesses and who I want to become in the future, right? So you can have indulgences, but ask yourself, do I want it more than this? Good questions to ask. And then always starting with you, maybe you need a few more days to rest. We're not going to save the world in one day. So maybe we need to come back to this ladder approach. We need to just start with something small, feel good about it, and then give ourselves permission to relax the rest of the day. The worst possible thing we could possibly do, and I do this all the time, I'm sure you do it too. The worst thing that we could do is not do the activities that we want, not do the activities that we need to do in order to achieve our goals. Say is prospecting for clients, like I was talking about, working out and having a healthy body and mind so you can actually perform. The worst thing we could do is not do these things and then beat ourselves up all day long about it. I do this so much. It's like, dude, this is such trash. So not only did I avoid the tasks I needed to do to get my goals, but I distracted myself all day long by just kicking the shit out of myself because I didn't do those things. And I couldn't even enjoy smoking the pot, watching football, eating a bunch of food. Like, I'm more so coping because I feel bad about it. And then I'm not even enjoying it. My head wasn't where my feet was. I wasn't in the present moment. And I've done this a lot. I will say though, I do this so much less than I used to, but look out for this stuff. If you're gonna, yeah, look, this stuff's deadly, man. So it can really cause a lot of anxiety and depression and inaction and all this kind of crazy stuff. So be careful for this stuff. Watch out for that stuff. If you're not going to do the task, okay, that's okay. Not going to save the world in a day. Better phrase, Rome wasn't built in a day. So let's take a step forward after the holidays. Ooh, breathe a little bit, right? Rock and roll, baby. So you guys, I hope these tips were helpful to get you back on track. I know I went over, I'm actually at 20 minutes now, but we got some more interviews coming up after the new year. So you guys are going to get a whole big dosage of T-Dog over the next week. So enjoy, but I'll be giving more updates on upcoming interviews that I'll have. But most of the shows are going to be like this, where we're just going over practical coach. These are just coaching exercises I do with folks all the time. So if you know anyone who needs a coach, make sure you have them talk to Tanner, refer out to me, and I will be talking to you guys bright and early, 8 a.m. Central Standard Time tomorrow morning with another episode of the Talk Tanner Morning Show. Cheers, friends. Have an incredible, incredible day. Love you all. Enjoy. Let's get something done today. Cheers.